Yo, what is up guys, Space and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and today I'm going to be going over the differences between the JagdPz version 4, this tank right in front of you, and the JagdPanzer E100. I'm going to be giving you my honest opinions on which one is better, as one of them is free and one of them you have to pay a hefty buck in order to buy. That being said, that is the JagdPz version 4. It was actually recently in the auction for 17,500 gold, and I did actually pick it up when it was that price. And the JagdPanzer E100, however, is absolutely free. So I'm going to be giving you guys my opinions on them, which one I think is ultimately better, and why I'd suggest to get the one over the other. So with that being said, let's head straight into it. Now, so I'm actually just going to go over the equipment that I run on both of the vehicles very quickly. First of all, equipment-wise on my JagdPz I am running calibrated shells on the first row, enhanced gun lane drive, and refined gun. Now, refined gun I would highly suggest you to use on this vehicle. The JagdPz version 4 is surprisingly so inaccurate. The gun is incredibly unreliable on this vehicle, and I have tried using vertical stabilizer for that 15% increase to accuracy while you're moving the tank. And I thought that would actually be very beneficial for the vehicle, since you have to turn, since it has no turret, you'd have to turn around corners very quickly and get some snapshots, and I thought that would actually help it in the long run. However, after some testing, I have realized that that is not really a big help overall for a majority of games, because you're not always going to have guys right in front of you, and the situations where the enemy is a bit distant from you, you need to have that refined gun to have that better chance of hitting your enemies. Second row, I'm running improved modules, enhanced armor, and enhanced tracks. All of those just vitality, makes your tank more durable. Would suggest you to run exactly what I'm running. Since this tank has a lot of armor and a pretty bad gun at long range, I would suggest you to run it frontally. So if you're going to be aggressive in the vehicle, it would help you to have improved optics to spot those enemy vehicles when they are in front of you, instead of having the camouflage net. Since you're going to be moving, you won't be setting your camouflage net, hence it'll be useless compared to the improved optics. I'm then running engine accelerator and high-end consumables. Now, consumables wise, this tank does have reactive armor, so I would suggest you to use it. Because of the vehicle's lack of HP, this reactive armor does kind of give you that fighting chance to not really die as soon as you would without it. So I would suggest you to run it, and especially run adrenaline. However, if you do choose to get rid of either of these, I would suggest you to get rid of the reactive armor and replace it with a repair kit so that you can repair your modules, and that would be overall better than just taking a little bit less damage. Provisions are straightforward. I mean, you can just copy what I'm running here. Let's get into the live battle on this vehicle. Now, I did have a few videos recorded, or at least gameplay videos recorded for both of these vehicles. However, like, they're both 5,000 damage games, but I think a live game would be able to kind of just explain what I truly mean about this vehicle. And I'm just going to get this over and done with. I am actually not a big fan of the JagdPz. I am currently running about 3,600 average damage on the vehicle with a 75% win rate. However, I still don't believe that this vehicle is a fun tank to drive, first of all. It is also not that reliable, since the gun is incredibly unreliable, and it's very frustrating that the gun is this bad, because as you'll see in a second when I play the JagdPanzer E100, it is a lot more accurate. Even though that tank has a bigger alpha and bigger caliber, the JagdPanzer is so much more accurate than the JagdPz. Now we're going to get into a situation here where we have a JagdPanzer E100 in front of us. I'm going to shoot him there. Not going to use my reactive armor just yet, because I don't have to. The JagdPanzer wasn't fully aiming at me. And in this situation, I just need to sit back, wait for that pretty long reload, I must say. And then I'm going to get another shot into the JagdPanzer E100. Now, what's pretty cool about this Russian tank destroyer is that it has a pretty decent alpha. I do believe it's about 680 alpha, which is pretty decent. It's higher than that on the JagdPz, I do believe. Okay, so we get a unfortunate bounce there. I'm going to use my reactive armor now, because I am in a sticky situation here where the AMX-50B is just pummeling me with shots. And all of a sudden, the entire enemy team decides to be in front of me here. And as you can see, the armor working, it's doing its job. I just bounced like a hell of a bunch of damage just there and then that I wouldn't really bounce in any other tank. So that is one thing that this tank has going for it. Its armor is pretty incredible, but you need to know how to use it. As you saw there, I was trying to just directly face the enemy so that they had no chance of penning me. Because when you are directly facing them, if they're not running any premium ammo, they cannot pen you. So just like this, where the 5140 is, you can see I'm directly facing him. I'm aiming directly with him so that it makes my cheeks extremely strong to pen. Okay, so in the situation, kind of rough here, I'm not going to lie. although we are winning right now, so I'm just going to be a bit more aggressive here. I'm going to pull over this corner and get a shot into this T95, and then it was going to go for a ram, but we ended up putting him on fire, so I can actually just back up. Now, one thing that is pretty nice about this vehicle is the 20 kilometers reverse speed that you get on this tank. It means that you can get out of sticky situations extremely quickly, might I add, and yeah, it does really help you out there. Now, another thing I have to complain about this vehicle is that its premium pen and pen in general is so garbage. Just to put into perspective, this tank's normal rounds are pretty similar to a medium tank's penetration on its normal rounds without using calibrated shells, which literally just tells you right there and then how bad the pen is. Might I add, this tank only has 50 millimeters of high explosive pen, so you're not going to be penning almost anybody with high explosive, unfortunately, and it is quite sad for the vehicle, because one of the main things that tank destroyers have that are really fun about them is the ability to do a hell of a lot of damage using high explosive. Because having just about 50 millimeters of high explosive pen means that you can literally not pen anybody with high explosive. It just means that you're not going to be doing those big amounts of damage shots with this tank. Because if I show you here, as you can see, it has 55 millimeters maximum with high explosive. Just in general, if we compare that to the JagdPanzers, it has 90 millimeters, which again isn't the best tank destroyer high explosive pen, but that is a good 30 millimeters more, and that can be the difference of penning a medium side versus completely not being able to pen it. Yeah, so another nitpick that I have about the Object 268, it has some pretty strong points, like the armor is very good on the vehicle, but in that game you saw the gun did kind of do what it needed to do, but you have to sit in front of the enemy and aim for an incredible amount of time in order to just hit somebody, where I think the alpha that it has compared to the Jag, it should at least be more accurate and more reliable. I did end up doing 4,900 damage in that game, so it was a pretty decent live battle. Now let's head over onto the JagdPanzer E100. Now, this is the tank that I think is way better than the Object 268, and it is a free tank. This is what I meant. The JagdPanzer you can get in the tech tree for absolutely free. Let me now go over what I run on equipment. Now, because the tank does have a pretty long reload, I would suggest running calibrated shells to make sure you are penning your shots. And as you can see, it has upwards of 320 millimeters on that AP normal rounds, and then 420 on its heat rounds, which makes it one of the best penning tanks in the game besides the Ho-Ri, since this tank does run heat. I am then running enhanced gun laying drive and vertical stabilizer. These two together make this tank pretty snappy, especially at close range when you need to turn around corners to quickly snap a shot into the enemy. The second row I'm running improved modules, enhanced armor, and enhanced tracks, again just like the Object 268. I'm then running improved optics, engine accelerator, and high-end consumables for the same reason I mentioned on the Object 268. Consumables wise, this tank has a very nice consumable. It has tungsten rounds, which allows you to do 105 to 120% of your average damage. This basically allows you to hit your high rolls a lot more often than you would without it, and this allows this vehicle to hit upwards of 1,000 damage in a single shot, not even using or taking into consideration of its high explosive rounds. I am then running adrenaline and then the multi-purpose restoration kit. I wouldn't suggest you to run 2 repair kits, although they wouldn't hurt doing so. I just think that the tungsten rounds just make this vehicle so much more fun than it would be without it. Provisions are pretty simple, so you can also just copy them there. Let's head into the live battle in the JagdPanzer as well. Now, this vehicle I absolutely love, and I really would suggest it over getting the Object 268. The Object 268 being 17,500 gold cannot even compare to the JagdPanzer being absolutely free. You just need to spend a little bit of time and you get this tank for free, and you wouldn't have to spend any gold on it. And in my opinion, you're getting a better tank than the Object 268. Mind you, it doesn't have that fantastic armor that the tank does have on the Object 268, but it still has incredible armor. Mind you, the lower plate is pretty vulnerable, but as soon as you hide that lower plate and get any sort of angle, you are going to be almost impenetrable in this vehicle. The fact that it got an armor buff a few months ago along with the E100 just means that this tank is just so much stronger than it used to be. Plus, this tank has a way higher alpha, which allows you to hit some very, very nice and very hard shots. And the fact that I mentioned that this tank is at least feels more accurate than the Object 268, which allows you to just turn around and snap targets very easily. Like here, let's see if we can get a shot into that Concept 1B. Yes, I'm going to take some time to aim, but the Object 268 really feels like if I fully aimed in the Object 268, there would still be a chance to miss that shot on that concept, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, I do get spotted, and that is an issue with this tank. It doesn't have the best of camera ratings compared to the Object 268, but it's for a good reason. This tank is absolutely massive. It is similar to the size of the E100. Now, I'm going to load my tungsten rounds and do 961 damage. That is what makes this tank so fun, and something that the Object 268 lacks. The Object 268 really doesn't feel fun to drive, and it's mainly because of the low alpha compared to this vehicle, and the fact that it can be incredibly inaccurate compared to this tank as well. I'm hoping that Minnow could back up, but it doesn't look like he's doing so just now. We unfortunately only get one shell with our tungsten rounds, and our entire team is dying right now. So in this situation, I'm going to try back up to my teammates if I can. The 60 TP is still here in the back, so maybe we can load a high explosive round and shoot it into the back of that TVP. That would be the best scenario right now. If I could do that, maybe we can win this game, and I do manage to do it. Now, honestly speaking, I probably wouldn't have been able to pen that TVP with the 268 on its side at that angle, because 50 millimeters compared to almost 90 millimeters on the JagdPanzer on high explosive pen is a game changer, man. It really just gives you that night and day pen compared to the 268 version 4. And just like that, just because I was able to get that mix of alpha damage, which allows me to head upwards of 1100 damage needed to kill that TVP, allowed me to actually kill that player and win us this game. If I didn't kill that TVP, we possibly wouldn't have won this battle, and we still win it, so which is awesome. A fantastic game in the JagdPanzer E100. Not the highest damage, didn't do close to the amount of damage that I did on the Object 268, but that is besides the point. The JagdPanzer E100 is a fantastic tank, and if you guys are looking to buying the Object 268 in the future, I would suggest you not to in its current state. The tank needs some sort of gun handling buff before I could suggest the tank, because the JagdPanzer E100's gun just feels so much better, and it has higher alpha, it has higher pen, it has everything better than the Object 268 in terms of its gun, and the armor can be somewhat comparable to the Object 268. And the other main letdown about the Object 268 is that it only has 5 degrees of gun depression, where the JagdPanzer has 6. Now you might be saying 1 degree more, wow FaZe, how can that be that much helpful? But you do notice it when you are on a ridgeline and you're able to get that low, or at least not show your lower plate. You can notice that the gun depression is better on the JagdPanzer E100. So overall, guys, the Object 268, I really do wish it has something fun about it, but currently in its state, the only thing it has going for it is good reverse speed, a nice top speed, and overall okay armor that can still be penned by knowledgeable players. The gun is very unreliable, and it makes the tank extremely frustrating to play now and then. And the JagdPanzer, mind you, doesn't have that incredibly strong lower plates, but it still can be extremely troll, especially if you angle them properly. Now, let me know if you guys want me to do a full review on one of these vehicles. I can do a full review on the JagdPanzer E100 on its own, and another on the Object 268, where I discuss its armor in a more in-depth way, and everything about the tank in a more in-depth way. Anyways, guys, that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy this video, you can leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. Anyways, guys, that's it for me today. Hope your shots hit their marks, and I'll check you in the next one. Cheers.